Hello everyone, welcome to my video tutorial class. I am Dr. Devasri Saikia, Faculty of Biotechnology Department, Durham College. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about immune response. It is an important topic for everyone and it is the first unit of the syllabus of Biotechnology course, 4th semester. Before going to start about immune response, let us know a few words about what is immunology. Immunology is the study of immunity and immune systems of vertebrates. Immunity came from the word immunis, means exempt or free from burden. The immune system has evolved to protect us from a universe of pathogenic microbes or different foreign invaders. The immune system consists of a complex network of cells and molecules and their interactions. It is specifically designed to eliminate infectious organisms from the body. And this is possible since the immune system is capable of distinguishing the self from non-self and eliminate the non-self. There are two types of immunity, innate immunity and adaptive or acquired immunity. Despite being surrounded by harmful microorganisms, toxins, and the threat of our own cells turning into tumor cells, humans manage to survive, largely thanks to our immune system. The immune system is made up of organs, tissues, cells, and molecules that all work together to generate an immune response to protect us from microorganisms, removes toxins, and destroys tumor cells. Obviously, not all at once, it happens step by step. The immune response can identify a threat, mount an attack, eliminate a pathogen, and develop mechanism to remember the offender in case the person encounters it again, all within 10 days. However, in some cases, like the pathogen is particularly stubborn or if the immune system starts attacking something it should not, like the person's own tissue, it can last much longer, for months to years, and this lead to chronic inflammation. Now coming to immune response. Humans and other mammals live in a world that is heavily populated by both pathogenic and non-pathogenic microbes, and that contains a vast array of toxic or allergenic substances that threaten normal homeostasis. The immune response is the body's ability to stay safe by affording protection against harmful agents and involves lines of defense against most microbes as well as specialized and highly specific response to a particular offender. So it is basically the ability of an organism to resist infections by pathogens or state of protection against foreign organisms or substances. Immune responses are of two types, innate and adaptive immune response. First, coming to the innate immune response. The innate immune response is present since birth of an organism and consists of many factors that are relatively non-specific, meaning that although they distinguish an invader from a human cell, they cannot distinguish one invader from another invader. The innate immune response is very fast, working within minutes to hours. However, there is no memory associated with innate immune responses. If we simply say the innate responses will respond to the same pathogen in the exact same way, no matter how many times it sees the pathogen. The innate immune response includes things that we might not even think as being part of the immune system. Things like chemical barriers, like lysozymes in the tears and low pH in the stomach, as well as physical barriers like the epithelium in the skin and gut, and the cilia that line the airways to keep the invaders out. In contrast, adaptive immune response, also known as specific or acquired immune response, is highly specific for each invader. The cells of the adaptive immune response have receptors that differentiate one pathogen from another by their unique parts called antigens. These receptors can distinguish between friendly bacteria and potentially dead ones. So, it is capable of recognizing and selectively eliminating specific foreign antigens. Adaptive immunity is also diverse, meaning it can recognize almost an infinite number of specific antigens and mount a specific response against each of them. The only trade-off is that the adaptive immune response relies on cells being primed or activated, so they can fully differentiate into the right kind of fighter to kill that pathogen, and that can take a few weeks. But the great advantage of adaptive immune response is the immunologic memory. The cells that are activated in adaptive immune responses undergo clonal expansion, which means they massively proliferate. And each time the adaptive cells see the same pathogen, they massively proliferate again, resulting in a stronger and faster response each time the pathogen comes around. Once the pathogen is destroyed, most of the clonally expanded cells die off, and this process is known as clonal deletion. But some of the clonally expanded cells live on as memory cells, and they are ready to expand once more if the pathogen ever resurfaces. The immune system is a defensive system in a host consisting of widely distributed cells, tissues, and organs that recognize foreign substances and microorganisms and acts to neutralize or destroy them. As the immune system is the defense system of our body, so we can say the cells are the soldiers of the system. So the cells responsible for both non-specific and specific immunity are the leukocytes or white blood cells. Hematopoiesis is the process of forming white blood cells as well as red blood cells and platelets, and this process is primarily takes place in the bone marrow. Hematopoiesis starts with a multipotent hematopoietic stem cell which can develop into various cell types. However, its future is undecided. Some become myeloid progenitor cells, whereas others become lymphoid progenitor cells. The myeloid progenitor cells develop into myeloid cells, which include neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, mast cells, dendritic cells, macrophages, and monocytes, which are the part of the innate immune response and can be found in the blood as well as in the tissues. The lymphoid progenitor cells develop into B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, which are part of the adaptive immune system. This figure shows the development of different cells of immune system through hematopoiesis. Here, from the blood stem cells, it's differentiated into myeloid stem cell and lymphoid stem cells. And myeloid stem cells differentiate into red blood cells, platelets, and different white blood cells like eosinophil, neutrophil, basophil, etc. Whereas the lymphoid stem cells differentiate into B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, and natural killer cells or NK cells. So from the previous slides, we came to know how innate immune response is different from adaptive immune response. However, here in this slide, I try to show it in a tabulated form, which will be easy to remember. So in case of specificity, innate immune response is antigen non-specific. That is, they are non-specific to different antigens. However, in case of adaptive immune response, it is highly specific for specific antigens. Response time, innate immune response, they show very fast response. That means within hours. However, adaptive immune response is a slow response. It takes few days to few weeks. Diversity, innate immune response is very limited, wherever in case of adaptive immune response, it's very high. Memory, in case of innate immune response, memory cells are absent or very low. However, in case of adaptive immune response, memory cells are present. Major cell types of innate immune responses are phagocytes, NK cells, and different types of leukocytes. Whereas in case of adaptive immune response, major cell types are T and B lymphocytes and antigen-presenting cells. Now, coming to the conclusion of this topic. The first line of defense against non-self pathogens is the innate or non-specific immune response. The innate immune response consists of physical, chemical, and cellular defenses against pathogens. The main purpose of the innate immune response is to immediately prevent the spread and movement of foreign pathogens throughout the body. The second line of defense against non-self pathogens is called adaptive immune response. Adaptive immunity is also referred to as acquired immunity or specific immunity and is only found in vertebrates. The adaptive immune response is specific to the pathogen presented. The adaptive immune response is meant to attack non-self pathogens, but sometimes it can make errors and attack itself. When this happens, autoimmune diseases can develop. For example, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, etc. While the innate immune response is immediate or very fast, the adaptive immune response is not. Adaptive immune response, it takes a longer time. However, the effect of the adaptive immune response is long-lasting, highly specific, and is sustained long-term by memory T cells. Innate and adaptive immunity are not independent. They operate in a cooperative and interdependent ways. Activation of innate immune responses produces signals that stimulate and direct subsequent adaptive immune responses. Thank you very much for watching my video.